Most of us are being lied to. We operate under the illusion that substances just change how we feel. But the truth buried beneath that surface is darker and far more complex. They're silently rewriting your brain's operating system. They don't gift you real happiness, confidence, or clarity. It's all a magic trick. They hijack, manipulate, and mimic the survival chemicals your brain depends on to function. This video isn't here to lecture you or use scare tactics. It is a decoder ring to explain why your intelligent brain falls for these fake feelings, and why the bill for that pleasure always arrives when you are at your weakest. Today, we are going to strip down the mechanics of 12 common substances through the cold lens of psychology and neuroscience. Because when you truly understand the puppeteer, he loses the power to pull your strings. 1. Caffeine. Caffeine is essentially an energy scam. It doesn't actually refuel you, it just gags your fatigue. When it hits the brain, it blocks adenosine, the chemical signal telling you to rest. The result? Your heart pumps, neurons fire, and the world looks high definition. But this is a high interest loan. That clarity is actually delayed fatigue. When the caffeine wears off, the dam breaks, and the adenosine floods back in all at once, leaving you crashing, irritable, and slow. Worse, your brain adapts by becoming lazy, stopping its own production of natural alertness signals. Psychologically, caffeine becomes a startup ritual. You aren't addicted to the bean water. You're addicted to the productive avatar of yourself that you believe the coffee summons. 2. Nicotine. Nicotine is the master of the bait and switch. It fires an instant dopamine arrow into your brain, sharpening focus and softening stress in seconds. The brain naively interprets this as relief, but nicotine burns out fast. As the dopamine fades, tension returns louder than before. You don't smoke the next one for pleasure. You smoke to run away from the discomfort the previous one created. The loop is false relief, stress craving, false relief. It tricks the brain into thinking it is the cure when it is actually the disease. Over time, your brain learns that peace only exists in the brief moments between cravings, making normal life feel dull and lacking. 3. Alcohol. Alcohol is a depressant wearing a party hat. At first, it lowers the defenses, softening rigid thoughts and lubricating social friction. You feel light, and the world feels less jagged. But as your blood alcohol rises, it demolishes your judgment while amplifying chaotic emotions. You feel like you're in the driver's seat, confident and expressive, while your executive functions are actually collapsing. The price you pay is the come down, total depletion, dehydration, and brain fog. Psychologically, alcohol becomes a mute button for intrusive thoughts. The brain starts to view alcohol as the only shortcut to relaxation, making sober socialization feel terrifyingly raw and anxious by comparison. 4. Cannabis. Cannabis warps the lens through which your brain views reality. Colors pop, time stretches, and trivial thoughts feel profound. For some, it brings peace. For others, it triggers spiraling anxiety. The issue isn't that it fries your brain cells, it's that it rewires your reward system. It teaches the brain that satisfaction can be achieved without effort. It offers a shortcut to feeling calm that is completely untethered to actual recovery or rest. Psychologically, the brain links weed to the off switch. Without it, your natural ability to unwind atrophies, making reality feel harder to deal with. 5. Cocaine. Cocaine is an artificial dopamine flood. It doesn't trickle, it bursts. You feel like the main character of the movie, sharp, powerful, and invincible. But the peak is short, and the valley is deep. Anxiety spikes, motivation dies, and fatigue hits like a truck. Your brain plummets from hyperstimulation to total desolation. Psychologically, cocaine teaches a dangerous lesson. High performance comes from manic intensity, not skill, rest, or effort. It replaces natural confidence with chemical arrogance, leaving you craving it just to feel normal again. 6. MDMA, ecstasy, Molly. MDMA unlocks the vault of serotonin and oxytocin, creating a beautiful illusion of universal love. Every touch is electric, every stranger is a soulmate, and the world feels unified. But it burns through your happiness reserves in a matter of hours. When the chemicals run dry, you are left empty and isolated. That isn't a personality shift. It's an empty fuel tank. Psychologically, MDMA creates artificial bonding. When the magic fades, real-life social interactions can feel painfully flat and shallow compared to that chemical high. 7. LSD. LSD doesn't just change feelings. It changes how the brain defines reality. Boundaries dissolve, senses cross-wire, and the self can vanish entirely. While not physically addictive, it is a gamble. The same dose can be heaven or hell, depending on your mindset and setting. Psychologically, LSD blurs the line between internal thought and external truth. It makes sensory hallucinations feel like cosmic wisdom, leading users to believe they've found profound insight when they've really just experienced sensory scrambling. 8. Ketamine. Ketamine cuts the cable between mind and body. The environment feels distant, and you observe yourself from the third person, a state of total dissociation. When it fades, consciousness reboots sluggishly, like wading through mental mud. Psychologically, this is the ultimate escape hatch. It creates a safety buffer from painful reality. But the more you hide in that detached state, the weaker your ability to handle real life becomes. 9. Opioids. Opioids are a warm, deadly chemical hug. They mimic natural pain relief, dissolving all anxiety and putting the body in a state of absolute safety and stasis. But the cost is survival dependency. Breathing slows, awareness dims. When you stop, the withdrawal is a living hell. Physical torture and mental panic. Psychologically, opioids replace your ability to self-soothe. They make natural comfort feel obsolete because the chemical version is too perfect, forcing the brain to beg for more just to survive. 10. Methamphetamine. Meth is energy borrowed at a predatory interest rate. It floods the system with dopamine and adrenaline, creating an illusion of superhuman focus and sleepless power. Sleep becomes optional, but it's not efficiency, it's overdrive. The crash brings paranoia, emotional emptiness, and total depletion. Psychologically, meth tricks you into thinking you are at peak productivity. In reality, it is eating your cognitive stability and leaving long-term emotional damage. 11. Psilocybin. Psilocybin shuffles the brain's information sorting. The world breathes, patterns move, and emotions swell. Time and space become fluid. While non-addictive, it can kick open emotional doors you aren't ready to walk through. Psychologically, psilocybin doesn't download new truths. It magnifies what is already inside. Profound spiritual experiences are often just your own subjective perceptions turned up to volume 11. 12. Benzodiazepines. Benzos act as the brain's emergency brake by boosting GABA. The body loosens, the noise stops, and the world becomes quiet and manageable. But use them too long, and the brain forgets how to brake on its own. It outsources peace to the pill. Stopping leads to rebound anxiety that is far worse than before, along with dangerous seizures. Psychologically, benzos teach the mind that peace is an import, not an internal skill. You lose the ability to regulate your own emotions. The common thread across this entire list? None of them create real pleasure. They are loan sharks. They steal joy, clarity, and health from future you to pay for a fleeting moment today. They hijack biological systems meant for survival, connection, and rest, turning them into shortcuts off a cliff. Understanding this isn't about judgment, it's armor. Because when you know how the machine works, you can't be easily programmed by chemicals or emotions. If you find value in understanding your own mind, stick around to explore how invisible habits and thoughts are rewiring your brain every single day. This channel is dedicated to decoding those hidden patterns. Subscribe or check out the next video. There is always more to uncover about the human mind.